All right, welcome into Market Day Report. I am Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. Thank you very much for being here on this Friday Eve. That's how we get through Thursdays. The 14th all day today. Thanks for tuning us in. It's about 10:47 Central Time. Let's see what the markets are doing, right? Let's jump right in. Let's waste no more time. During the radio show, things were decidedly not good, and they've gotten worse. We're 7 cents lower in D's corn, now 419.5 as it breaks down. And we're right now on the lows of the day there, and we've had about a 9-cent range. That's decent. March is down 6 cents to 431 and a half. All right, let's take a look at beans. Oh boy, I knew it was going to happen. Jam beans, that's 17 cents lower. We've gone through that $10 line like a hot knife through butter. We're also on the lows there as we speak right now. Boy, I got bad timing. And that's about a 23-cent range already. March is down 15 3/4 cents to 10.02 3/4, also on the lows. Let's go to Chicago wheat. We're 8 3/4 cents lower in D's Chicago wheat, 532 1/4 last there, and that's about 1 3/4 cents off the low of the day there. We've had a 14-cent range. March is down 6 3/4 cents to 549 3/4. That's Chicago wheat down between 6 3/4 and 8.5 cents across the board. Let's move over to Kansas City and take a look at the hard red. 4 3/4 cents lower in that D's contract to 536 even. That's about 4 1/4 cents off the lows there. We've got a March board down 5.5 cents to 549 1/4, and that too is 4 1/4 cents off the lows. So we're not bang on the lows in the hard red like we are everything else, but still it's negative on the day. Let's take a look at spring wheat. A penny lower up front in D's, 570s last, and that's a penny and a quarter off the low there. And we're got about, well, it's not a very big range, 6-cent range. March is down 4 1/4 cents to 589, and that is now basically on the low, or just a tick off it. And we've had, a 7-cent range there. So that's what's happening in the spring wheat in Minneapolis. Let's move out to the cotton. We'll get to our guest analyst. Cotton is down 24 points in D's to 68.66, just 16 points off the low of the day. Well off the highs by over 100 points. So that's cotton for you. Let's bring in our guest analyst, and that's going to be Mr. Joe Barke. He's with CHS. Joe, thanks for joining us all the way from Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota. Is it getting cold up there yet?
Yeah, we've been below freezing a few times. We certainly had a little frost on the pumpkin there around Halloween, and we're expecting snow next week. And I think this moisture is playing into the sell-off that we have. We've had good moisture in the southern plains, and that's been a bit of a negative here on the wheat as we get going. Corn hovering around this 420. It's probably not too early to talk about option expiration on December corn contracts. There's 24,000 of the 420 calls that are still open, and 28,000 of the 430 calls. And then as we look at the puts, there's also 24,000 of the 420 puts. So kind of hovering right at that 420 level. Got a whole week and a day before we settle those December options, but that could be playing in here just a little bit as the market gets a little sticky around this 420 level in December. On the soybeans, I think the reaction to some of the cabinet appointments played into what happened on bean oil the last couple days, and we did break that $10 level, and things certainly accelerated as we got through $10 on the beans.
Yeah, we were watching that jam bean. We went down there and took a look a couple days in a row.
Yeah.
10:01, 10:02, 10:03, and then we kind of rallied back. But today it kind of broke. The dam broke today.
Yeah.
And really, like you mentioned, there's a lot of things being affected by the so-called quote-unquote Trump trade. But if you're long, it doesn't matter what I say because it hurts. I get it. But I do think that people are they're jumping the gun a little bit on their expectations of what's going to happen with these policies and these appointments. What do you think?
I couldn't agree more. As a matter of fact, as we think about it, I mean, we're only talking about cabinet level, potential appointments, and we're not thinking about the potential impact of the differences. And I think as we look at these cabinet appointees, no one's really anti-renewable fuels. As a matter of fact, it may slow down electric vehicles as we think about what could
100%,
happen for
exactly
biofuels.
right. Yeah.
So I think we have to be really careful jumping that gun. This has a lot to do with what's happened to the dollar. We broke 107. Your classic go-tos that I hear you talk about all the time, your gold, oil, the 10-year, all of that is still resetting post-election, and
100%.
I think we're feeling that in our ags.
Yep, gold can't find its feet. 10 years going to the moon. At the same time, our Fed is cutting rates with abandon. So, I don't know. I tell you what, it's going to be a bumpy ride in 25. Maybe I'll get a bumper sticker that says it on it. Who knows? But thanks very much for coming on, Joe. You don't know this, but I used to live up in Bloomington.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, your dad was with Cargill.
Yeah, right. So we were in the home office for a while. So I don't think I've gotten frostbite more times in my life than I did when I lived up there for 4 years. But we got pretty good at ice fishing, that's for sure, though. Appreciate you coming on. Thanks for being on the show, Joe Barke. He's with CHS up in Invergrove Heights. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills, and we're going to come back and talk more livestock with a guy in the livestock jacket right after this.